Always remember, ladies and gents, the enemy is in every facet of life, you know. And my philosophy is this. Now, first of all, we got to pray for them who are, real people, because they really truly do not know how they're sealing their own fate by, inserting themselves in these attacks against those of us who love Christ on a real level. So it is what it is. Pray for those people, but at the same time, be very mindful of the fact that the whole entire city, wherever you might find yourself at, they be having meetings about you. There are meetings that take place. There's technology that, I found a camera in my smoke detector one time, okay? That was 2017. That's back when I didn't understand what I was really up against at that moment in the game. So, grocery stores you go to, because you gotta think, for these demons to borrow the bodies of these people and engage in these spiritual attacks, you gotta understand something. Certain meetings have to be had, they have to take place. Plans have to be constructed in a manner to where it looks normal, gives the mere appearance of normalcy, but sinister in nature. That's what it does. So, and at the end of the day, they're a bunch of failures, because they've been stacked their deck against you to where you can participate in society anyway. Not on a, but the Most High God, He will always put you in a superior position. You will always come out that diamond in the reserve, with the shimmery shimminess, with a little bit of extra shimmage. You dig? A little extra shimmage, if you will. You are timeless. Don't forget that. That's why at the end of the day, every age bracket respects you and respects your level of intelligence. How could you not? Even evil, that's respect. That's a respect thing. Whole communities attempting to rise up against a few. They got all the money, all the tech, all the yada da 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 means. They got it all. And they got it all for little old you. But little old you ain't little. You are a magnificently crafted orchestration by the Most High God in heaven. And then they got the nerve to concoct AI. We've got people who created artificial intelligence, and we're supposed to believe that this intelligent being that was created artificially is supposed to exceed that of the Most High's creation. Out of their rabbit minds. Out of their minds. This is what it's come to. And evil really think they're gonna win this time around. It's like, it makes you wonder, what kind of would-be trump card do they really think they contain that brings forth victory against the one who created them? Let's say you did defeat the Most High Creator of all. In my way of thinking, I would believe everything would cease to exist at that moment. How can you continue on when the supreme being is out of the picture? how does life continue at that juncture? Aha! That's because it can't. That's because on Team Most High, you don't lose. You are an eternal winner in the game. Better understand that, young soldiers. You better understand it. And that's why, and I know a lot of people, they'll probably click on my videos and see how I'm dressed in my videos and, not wanting to watch them all the way through. Hey, that's fine. If I can always reach, because it's never going to be a lot anyway, especially when you're on this path, until, the others, our unofficial fan base, because we get followed all around creation, to where they'll set up situations befitting to that as a car accident with no wreckage, no nothing, just a bunch of stalkers. And it needs to be the same people that be on television talking about it's an outrage for something a whole lot less severe. Insane in the brain. So yeah, it's just crazy. Going back on an earlier video about, weaponized kindness. I remember I went to a funeral of a friend of mine from martial arts. She got married pretty quickly. And then her husband died abruptly. Like, even to this day, it was one of those scenarios, right? So at the funeral, she didn't shed not one tear. Asked me, was I all right? And people kept coming up to me asking me, was I all right? Because they know that things affect us on a magnified level. They know that we deeply feel and we're compassionate beings. But see, then I didn't know this, but yeah, that's what that was about. And you know what I mean? I don't even want to get into all of the extras behind it because this is not the video for that. But my point is, they know that we are compassionate people. They throw terms out there like empathetic, things along those lines. But yeah, it just blew my mind how everybody was concerned for me and how I was feeling when I was there supporting a friend who later I would come to find out was in on the whole plot too. Start looking at some of the past people y'all have dealt with and see what's going on in their lives right now. A lot of them, their health is messed up. Things is falling apart. They done lost their immaculate lifestyles of the rich and slanderous. You gotta understand that. Like them blowing the horn over here. There's no reason to blow that horn. For what? There's no reason. And they're not even up to standards for me to even put them on video at the moment. So it's just, the enemy will do everything he can because he knows that time is short. That time is shorter than, hey, this short. And you know what that means. Didn't want to repent, didn't want to turn away from the bad. Smoking hot gluteal awaits. It's about to be them rosy red cheeks of gluteal. About to be sizzling his heart. Oh, to the yeah. Compliments of your continual sin, which is horrendous in nature. Oh yeah. So don't allow your kindness to get you jammed up in a situation. Use discernment to differentiate between an individual who truly needs assistance or these pretendinators dolled up in covert dressing like they own a James Bond 007 thriller about to get it in the paint. Nah, negative captain. You're going to spectate on the sidelines like you're like the glorified spectators in which you are, and you gonna respect the game because you ain't got no choice. And it's like that. And if anybody can prove me wrong, hey, please do. But you and I both know that ain't gonna happen. I got the Most High God on my side and He's in me. It goes down. And they warred in heaven. That's a crucial, pertinent piece of info. We need to be mindful about that. Satan got evicted by force. So I'm gonna leave that right there on the table. Those of us who know, we know. And knowing is all the battle. And we ain't talking G.I. Joe either. We're talking rosy, red hot chickadee cheeks. Smoking hot in the pits of H.E. double hockey Stiziaks. So, yeah. With that, God bless everybody. All other content creators, thanks for all that you guys do. You are very much needed in this line of work. You know? I remember even people kept like acting like we were trying to figure out about the stalking thing. You know, it's always people that they send to you, you know, to where we were supposed to start going to city council meetings and doing all this and that. And then what I was quickly discovering, I was the only one about that action. Some of them was witches. Some of them was sorcerers. Like, man, like, that's how I knew. I must have puzzled them. I must something. But it was all due to the Most High God in heaven all day, every day. But they were shook to the core. It was almost like a call for desperation was at hand, you know? And I'm not saying to try to sound like I'm somebody special, but through Christ and the Most High God in heaven, which His name is Ahia, you better bet your sweet bottom gluteal, we are special. We're a special breed of special extra. You don't want to get on the wrong side of special extra. So, we'll leave it right there where it needs to be. Because, you know, like I said, and then in instances they'll attempt to try to take your kindness for some level of weakness or something. There's nothing weak about you. Not even in the slightest. You know, I'm trained in areas and avenues that normally people of the said nature wouldn't be trained in. But thank God for the knowledge that He's bestowed upon thee. Because we are not a violent people. We are very loving, very peaceful. But I'm just not having the extras. You're not gonna put your hands on them. You're not gonna get within arm's reach or none of that. You know, I've got stories for years. You know, and it's time for maybe somebody can benefit off of my experiences, and maybe they can avoid things where I couldn't avoid. You know, the time's almost up. You know, it's time to get to the most His eye. You know, get your dose of that Most High action. Stay away from pretendinators. Stay away from the forces of evil. God bless you all. Shalom.